Welcome to a new episode. Again, this is remembering, thinking, exploring, try to make sense of it. So, thank you for listening. Another Sunday, sitting in my living room on my sofa, cat on my right, and I am pondering what an amazing week I had, preparing for going back to university tomorrow. So tomorrow is the start of a new year, and I know everybody says it's going to be intense. It's a master, it's a full-time 1 year research, and the first question that I have is, does it actually have to be intense? Can I just, I'm not saying take it lightly, but just enjoy the process of doing a master's. And who would have thought years ago that I would find myself here now, doing some last reading and prepping my bag for leaving early tomorrow morning and driving to York. So yesterday I had a performance. I did a drawing performance in York again. So I went to York with Kimball Bamster, who's an artist from York, and this Hungate reading library was amazing. It was a collective work. So we had 4 large sheets of paper that cover an entire room, and there was like about 8 people, 8 artists, and all drawing on top of each other's drawing. And I found somehow easier to find a slot, because I got there late because of issues with transport, but I found it easier for me to find a slot which was already drawn on and then put my slant on it. But I have to admit that I felt extremely precious of the marks that I made, and there were a couple of other artists, amazing women, and just beautiful. There was this incredible soundtrack, and who actually, one particular seemed like to follow me around, and wherever I was making a mark, there she was following me and just putting like a slant on whatever I did. And even though those were the rules of the game and I didn't know how I would react, I found it particularly hard to see the signs that I made, which to me had a particular meaning, sort of like then touched and morphed and changed by somebody else. And I'm questioning if also the whole meaning changed. Would it change for me? It felt like somebody's just shutting your voice down. I wanted to say something with those marks, and that didn't happen. It that somebody comes, sort of like shuts you, whatever your communication is. And I'm sitting here on this Sunday morning, having a look at the book Practice as Research, Approaches to Creative Arts Inquiry by Estelle Barrett and Barbara Bold. And in one of the chapters, they mention Martin Heidegger, my friend Martin, where he says that if we begin to, with Heidegger premise that we come to know the world theoretically only after we have come to understanding through handling. So it is true, only by the practice yesterday of coming into a room which was established where the walls were already covered in marks, and putting my own, and learning that I could put my own marks on top of somebody else's drawing, which now in insight could sound a bit arrogant, because then I felt very precious on the other side of somebody else's leaving marks, and changing my own mark making. Having said that, it's not that I wouldn't like to try that again, but I think that it is good for me to stop and reflect on my relationship with a white sheet of paper or somebody else's marks on. I think that also if I were to work with someone, just like in a pair or a tandem kind of work and bouncing off each other, with somebody whose approach to painting or to drawing is completely different from mine, we would probably find a way to compensate and meet in the middle and compromise in the creative process, instead of actually having just somebody following me around with a pencil or and just doing something just for the sake of doing, instead of actually doing something that has got a meaning. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just checking something out there. But I think that it is, as a process of reflecting on my own practice, I think that now that university is starting again tomorrow, I think that even more so this kind of verbal reflecting is important. So kudos to Barbara Bold for giving me this quote by Heidegger about understanding theoretically the world and finding by handling material yesterday, by handling material together with other people and physically doing something, I can then go back and reflect on how I see my own practice, but also how I see the world. And I'm sure that my reflection and my theoretical take on that is different from other people, because I also come from a different life perspective, for example, and I'm not used to having, for example, people who live with me. You might decide to, change stuff in the house, but as I leave things in the house, so I'll find them when I'm back. I don't have people just interacting with my own things, and I think that this is also something that has got to do with my own practice and my own jealousy of that piece of paper, or that color, or that crayon. So I'm leaving you with this again. I've been Mathilde, and thank you for listening. So this is it. One episode's done. Now more journaling, more thinking, more walking outdoors and elucubrating, which is always a good verb to use. So if you want to know more about me, you will be able to find me on Instagram, and you are able also to find me on my website, which is www.matildetomat.com. Okay, see you around.